Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please, join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report. It's Monday. It's Monday, the 22nd of February, and it's kind of, well, it's a crappy day here. But that's okay. Well, this is a worldwide broadcast, so it doesn't particularly matter. And our guest today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects in the entire world. His name is Karl de Leeuw, and he is one of the world's most famous the peace activists and campaigners. He campaigns for world peace via the truth, climate change via the reduction of methane gas, and healthy eating versus, he says here, the vegan diet. It might be something that has to do with something else, but we'll talk to him about that in depth. He's the author of the Universal Code and the Healthspring Code and the Dyslexia Code, which may have something to do with that, and is the founder of lightsurfers.me. And with that, I'd like to welcome Karl to the show. Hello, young man. You were on just a month ago. We had fun, so you're back.
Yes, thank you for having me back. Just on the vegan, no, that's got nothing to do with dyslexia. So a vegan is a new term that's been phrased by someone, I think, in the last year or two, and it's when you're vegan plus fish. So, so a pescatarian, as you probably know, is a vegetarian plus fish. But yeah, vegan is that. And then, yes, I've got an event called the ICD.world, which is International Celebration of Dyslexia event. But as you say, looking forward today to discuss reincarnation.
Absolutely. Now, last time you were here, and we talked about the concept of God versus the Creator. Could we just kind of go over that just a little bit for those? And I do highly encourage you to go back. That episode was done in late January, so I encourage you to go back and listen to that. But just for the sake of today, can you kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of where you're coming from with this project?
Yeah, so I've got an event in New York next year, the 2022, 9th of April, for 40 people, trying to get people that's similar-minded on the truth. So I've spent 7 years researching the Universe Code book and what I believe is the truth. It's 21 chapters. It's like 21 pieces of a puzzle. When I was finished with that 7-year research, I could clearly see the 21 pieces of the puzzle, 21 chapters. And so on the Creator and God, just in a nutshell, is also now, obviously you can check it on your independence report, but you can also check it out on my lightsurfers.me. I've got 12 topics there, and it's one of the topics. Your recording was posted there, Kevin.
Okay.
And yeah, and in a nutshell, it's the Creator. What the spiritual tells us that we are. It's actually Angel Margaret. We are the computers. She says it's a very close analogy. The angels are the servers, and the Creator is us and the servers together, the mainframe computer. God turns out to be the gods of the Old and New Testament. So before any Christians say, so actually it is different to the Creator. So the Christian God, Christians have got a God, and I'm going to explain now, but they also got a create. They're also part of creation. So the God of the Old Testament turns out to be our forefathers with the Pleiadians, and they come from a different constellation, and they came to Earth. And scientists are going to find out that there's no link in our DNA between us and the animal and plant kingdom. They literally came to Earth with UFOs. I call it fancy helicopters. You know, Ronald Reagan has confirmed that he saw a UFO. He was in a aeroplane, and he followed them for two minutes, and then the UFO just went ping. Unfortunately, there's so many mistruths, but we've got a whole episode on that. And then the gods started coming to Earth 8,000 years before Christ, because whenever they came to Earth people thought they're God, because they're so far scientifically, physically, and spiritually advanced. So they stopped coming because we need to earn our own way. So that's a sort of a brief explanation.
Very cool. Very cool. Because one of the things that has always intrigued me is that in the Bible, there is absolutely no mention at all of reincarnation of any form. However, there are references made. One was made about Elijah. One was made about Jesus. That there were several of them that they thought that this individual had come back as like Elijah. Elijah had come back as Jesus, and various topics like that. So there is references to it, but in modern Christianity, modern Catholicism, and they disregard that. But there was an Eastern religion. And you're going to talk about all this stuff, but we're talking about reincarnation. So I guess rather than me tell you what you're going to say, why don't you tell me what is your feeling about reincarnation?
Yeah, let me go on, and then you just ask me questions as we go along. So just for interest's sake, the Jewish people were also waiting for the reincarnation of Moses. And Moses had a certain personality. And then when Jesus arrived, the Jews said, well, this isn't Moses. This is a different person. You know, Jesus, incredibly, you know, I'm a Christian, highly old soul, elevated being. So there's a little bit of that in as well. Okay, so the first thing to start is that I was taught at the College of Psychic Studies to do automatic writing. Most people ask to, and you can only really do that once you've lifted yourself up. You've increased your vibration, and it includes diet as well. I believe that's if you want to give it the best shot. But at the college, yes. So, and I asked to speak to the Creator. Most people ask to communicate with the angels or whatever, and everyone has got that power to speak to the Creator. We in a new way, and I believe that the scholars in the Old and New Testament took reincarnation away because it somehow decreases the church power. It gives an individual far more power, and this is all about individual power. Now, in the spirit world, mediumship, I've used a lot of mediums throughout the years, and in all the writings that I've come across from the spirit world, not once have they said that there's not reincarnation. So certainly in all the information in my 7 years research, whatever, in the spirit world, if you go into that kind of discussion and you speak to mediums and so on, it's all about reincarnation. So it's not even a question mark, you know, in that it's only in the main society because it was taken out of the Old and New Testament. So one of my early teachers, sort of 2012, 13, she's a lady, Amanda Roberts, in London. She's now retired to Kiwiland, New Zealand. She is the only person I've come across that can actually remember before she incarnated. And they sometimes talk about a committee of 12 people or whatever. But I can't remember exactly how many people, but you sit with the committee. So you're obviously in the spirit world, so you're not in a human body, you're in spirit. And you can come up with missions. That's where the name missions really come from. And you can take on any mission you want to on Earth, because Earth is hell, it turns out, and we come to Earth for life lessons. So you can take on any mission. Now, the people in the committee, the spiritual committee, will then advise you whether you're taking on a heavy challenge for this lifetime, the coming lifetime, or not. But it's your free will to decide, even if you're taking on too heavy challenge.
It's interesting because when you talk about that, you are saying the same exact thing that, and by the way, I have another broadcast that we're going to do this afternoon. It's called Life Between Lives, and it features the work of Dr. Michael Newton, who was a hypnotherapist. And he put people into deep hypnosis, and the council that you're talking about was a very prominent part of what they did. And in the process of going through analyzing the life they just completed, making plans to determine what they're going to come back to do, that may or may not have anything to do with their karma or what they choose to do. So is it kind of like that for you and what you've discovered as well?
Yes. I think we're going to go through a few more points, and because I'm going to discuss past life regression. And then perhaps if we come onto it then. So when you take the first breath, that is what they say is when your soul then enters your body. And out of intersect, your soul then goes to the heaviest part of your body. It is there in the hip area. And then it radiates from there. And we're going to have a discussion in a month's time on human energy field and chakras. So we'll discuss that a little bit more. But when you take that first breath, then you wake, then your soul enters your body. Now then, at that point, and this is why so many people of the 8 billion people on Earth currently, you then need to wake up your own master plan, your own mission. Because it's for you to wake it up. There's only you can somehow wake it up. That's the most difficult. And some people search for whole lifetime. Just for instance, like some people decide to take a break. They come to Earth for just a break, just to have a quiet life. Some people have heavy missions. Now, the way to wake up your missions, and if you want to increase your vibration heavily, to be able to be a medium, like I've got no mediumship qualities. So I can't see chakras or human energy fields, or I can't, there's the one guy that taught me college psychic studies 12 months before someone is going to pass over, he already knows. Another lady, Mary Hensley, can see, no, it's not Mary, she can see some things. It's actually the other guy from Virginia in the States, forget his name for a second, but he could see 30 days before someone could die. You could see the energy fields going dark. And just while I'm on with him, what's his Edgar Cayce, the famous Edgar Cayce from the 1930s. He once got into in a department store, into a lift, and he just felt something was wrong, and he got out. And he realized that all the people, because he didn't have colors around them, because he could see human energy fields, they were all black. He got out, and the lift crashed, and everyone died. So that's Edgar Cayce's story. So we have for moral purification. So moral purifications, the Hindus say this as well. When I woke up, when I lost everything through losing my property and my marriage, I just started speaking the truth. One of the, apart from going on a vegan diet and so forth, is to speak the truth if you can have moral purification, even if you killed someone, even if you abused someone, you have to speak the truth, because if you don't, you're wasting a lifetime. You'll have to come back again to do a lifetime. So how does it work? The Kabbalah.com, out of interest sake, is a fantastic, if you want to learn a lot, go on Kabbalah.com for a year. It's something like £15 a month. And all you do, you listen for a year to as many videos as you can of Michael Burke, or his parents has now passed away, Philip and Karen Burke, and others. And you'll absolutely learn a lot. But the Kabbalists talk about the opposition. We Christians talk about the devil, or Lucifer. So when the Creator, as Christians know, made the angels, they made Lucifer, I think it's first. So the Kabbalists say the opposition. So it's like yin and yang. You need the opposite side. Without having the opposition, without having the devil, we cannot have life experiences. So in a sense, the opposition, the devil, is every negative thought that you get in your mind is the opposition, is the devil. And what Ralph Berg said in one video is, they said to, this is my recollection, they asked him, what is the most important thing? And just so to say, the Kabbalist is the Zohar that was communicated about 200 years or so after Christ to Rav Simon Barashai in a cave. And it's the secrets of the Old Testament. So that's where less is more is one secret. That's where it actually comes from. Earning your way, etc., etc. So they asked Rav Berg, what is the most important thing? And he said, just to restrict. He must probably use another word. Just restrict. So every negative thought that comes in your mind, just restrict, restrict, restrict. And so that links in with the opposition.
Now, when we talk about the opposition, now there are some folks that will say that the devil was a fallen angel and lives in a place called hell, and that if you're not good enough or you don't follow the right rules, you're going to end up there. Is that still your belief after all of the work and research that you've done?
No, I think my brother, which is quite a switch-on guy, our second brother, Michael, he said recently that hell and everything appeared in the New Testament, and it was never really in the Old Testament, or something like that. So I think scholars played a few games there, with sort of controlling people and so on. The opposition is an angel, and it is actually as pure as, if you think about it, you cannot. So earth is hell, and if you go to the spirit world and you haven't learned from your life lessons, the spirit world is also quite hell, because now you've got to come back to earth next reincarnation for more hell. So that's what the truth is. But the opposition, the devil, is quite pure, because we come to life for life lessons, and we need the opposition. If there's no one that puts those thoughts into our mind, we cannot have life lessons. We cannot grow and become from a young soul to an old soul. And the universe is all about growing.
And learning, and what in your frame of reference, when we talk about reincarnation, the reason we come back is to learn and to grow. What is our ultimate aim, and how does it all work? What are we after when in reincarnation? Are we what are we after long term? Where do we want to go?
To become karma-less, so that you've gone through all the life lessons, so that this is what I'm just thinking as I go on, an interesting question, that you don't have unfinished karma to come to Earth to. Because that's why we're coming to Earth, to for these unfinished lessons that we haven't learned. So the quicker you can wake up your mission and the quicker you can speak the truth, the more you can enhance your becoming karma-less. And the whole planet becoming an ascended planet. They say we are the only ascended planet in the solar system. That is quite unique. And it's, the spirit world is just looking down at us. And we've got to make, and this is why from the 22nd of December last year, 2020, was the real start of the time of Aquarius. And and it's difficult for us to perceive everything. How they explain it is like fish in a bowl, swimming in a bowl. The fish cannot see what's going outside the bowl, but it's the spirit world can look in on us. And we just in that bowl. We've got to wake up our own reincarnation plan. And yeah.
It's interesting because I think we just passed 8 billion people on the planet. And so, consequently, we've got more people that are alive today than collectively have been alive throughout human history. Is that because people are continuing to add to it here and to experiment here and to grow and to learn here? I happen to think it's because of indoor plumbing that more people are coming here. But well, 100 years ago, you had to go to the outhouse and it was with 30 degrees outside, so anyway. But why is that, do you think?
Well, the thing is, the Creator. We are all 5 main religions. I just studied the 5 main religions because where do you stop? That make up 75% of humanity. And that's also everyone must, if you believe in evolution, the Big Bang and then evolution, must have the same creator. So we've all got the same creator. And the creator gave us a fantastic thing, and that is called free will. It's totally up to us to make the world a better place or a bad place. And we've got to wake up. We've got to become more spiritual. The more we're going to become more spiritual, the more we will wake up our missions. And the more we will start controlling the earth in a better way. So currently, so many people are not waking up their missions, and they're just propagating or whatever it is. So that's how I will explain that one. The spirit world wants us to live longer, and because the longer we can live disease-free, it's like a foundation of a house. Then you've got the foundation, right? And when you get older in the human body, and as your soul grows from incarnations, you become more knowledgeable. And what can happen in our society, because the foundations are not correct, simply foundations. So I've got a book called the Healthspring Code. Maybe in the future we can do a chat. It's a fallacy that we have to have diseases. Now, I know for a lot of people, it will be, how can you say this? But my asthma disappeared after vegan and organic, 70% organic, because there's so many pesticides that's in food, just gets trapped in the cells. If you go vegan and 70% organic, your foundations become correct. And I've got on chapter 2 of my Healthspring Code, which you can all find on lightsurface.me, for free. You can go on Amazon inside the book, and you can see a 50mm clip of the Hunza cuts in northern Pakistan up to the mid-70s, where a 90-year-old is playing volleyball. They lived on average, people disputed, but up to 120, disease-free. That's the big issue. No, they don't know what a heart attack is, stroke is, or anything like that. Any case, coming back to reincarnation. So there we are. We've now in the body, you wake up your, you've got to wake up your missions. You've got these thoughts that the opposition, the devil put in your mind. You've got to restrict it. Some people do, some people don't. Some people wake up their missions. I've got a great talk on how to think big, how to go for it big, if you're interested in the future.
Sure.
And a lot of it is waking up your missions. Anyway, so then we go through a life, and then we pass over. And when we pass over, we then go into the Akash. Now, there's 3 layers of the Akash, which I think that's all in my book, the Healthspring Code on the website, which I won't go into that now. Now, what then happens? Some talk about a 3-day. You've got a movie of your life that you see, and some people talk about 3-day period. Now, I don't know if it's like a human day or spirit, but the ultimate issue, ultimately, your spirit then ends up in the Akash. In effect, in the one of the 3 is the actual silica, is in the silica and others in Earth, and in the dolphins and whales. And is the 3rd one is it's a cave of creation. I should have looked it up before this chat. The dolphins and the whales, and also in the crystalline grid, which is the Earth. And that's where the ghosts come from. So you don't actually, a part of you stays in the Akash. And that's why mediums can speak to people that's passed over. But the part of you that stays in Akash doesn't move forward. It doesn't move to the spirit world. The other part moves into the spirit world. And it's that part that reincarnates again. The part that stays in the Akash is the ghost. So when you communicate via medium to the loved one that passed away, you are speaking to a semi-ghost. And a lot of mediums don't appreciate that. Where if you communicate with a medium that communicates with the angel, or I myself do automatic writing with the creator, and out of interest, people can ask 3 questions for free on my website, lightsurface.me, directly to the creator. Then, so the angels and the creator is in the spirit world, with your past, the people that passed away is as such a ghost.
Now, do you have any idea what when we talk about because I understand that souls are energy, and so they can split themselves. Do you have any idea what kind of split they do as far as energy levels? Is it 60-40, 80-20? Do you have any idea?
No, I've got no knowledge on the split. I just know that you pass over through the pineal gland in the middle of your brain, and you then, part of you stay in the Akash as a, can I say, a ghost, but it is a physical being you can speak to, but it is all the memory of your lifetime, and then the rest splits into the spirit world, and you keep on reincarnating. I don't know what the split in percentage terms would be.
So what is that particular, the ones that stay there, what do you do? I don't know
any detail on that. I just know that it's those three levels, and it's one thing I do know is that when you incarnate again, before I forget, part of your past lives is in your DNA, and scientists are going to start discovering more. So when you incarnate again, when you open your mouth for missions, your past lives and all the memory is stored in your DNA. I nearly forgot that.
And that's why a hypnotherapist can take you back into hypnotherapy and you can experience a past life.
Absolutely. So just before, because I want to talk about past life regression, but before that, so when you then split off, so when you're in human form, if you can wake yourself up, you are part of creation because you're the computer. But when your spirit goes over into the spirit world, you're also part of the creator. So in both situations. Okay, Netflix came up with I think it's a 5 or 6 part series called Surviving Death. Now they've got a few things in there that I don't agree with. They talk about, this is where I can see people having problems with mediumship, because they put people in, they call it wet mediumship or something like that. They physically strap people to a chair, and then you have experiences to do with liquids and stuff. In fact, I never came across it. Certainly at the College of Psychic Studies in London, that's a pure place. They don't do that kind of mediumship. But the last 2 episodes of that 5 or 6 episodes of the Surviving Death, they go through a few past life regressions. So they've got an American boy and there's only a small chance. Now, thousands of people, millions of people have had past life regression experiences, and it will increase as we increase our vibration. So in the future, in 50, 100 years' time, they say that reincarnation is not something that we're going to talk about as whether it's true or not, because younger people growing up, there'll be more higher vibration, and they'll remember their past life regressions. It will become the norm. Now, in that movie, they mention a few different things, but there's this young chap that remembers a past life, and he starts talking about certain names and experiences. So they're tracking down to an American guy that was in the Second World War that died somewhere there in Japan area. He was on I think he was an aircraft carrier in an aeroplane, and they proved it 100%. And then they use a few other examples. So for anyone that's skeptical, please go to that Netflix movie.
I've seen that, Karl, and it is pretty amazing, because when this child, and he was nothing more than a 3 or 4 year old child, started relaying these experiences and could identify different aircraft from the World War II era and that sort of thing, it shocked his parents. They didn't believe it to begin with. So I agree with you. If you haven't seen it, you need to go look at it, because it is startling in the amount of factual evidence he brings forward that is then verified through historical record.
And I don't think I've got a lot of information in my universe code on it, but I know in my research there's so many cases. If you just had to, I want to say Google, one should not Google, one should use a browser called ecosia.org. Ecosia, because it's a climate friendly one. But if you ecosia.org, ecosia.org, reincarnate past life regressions, no doubt you'll see videos and whatever on that. So there's thousands of cases, and over the centuries must be millions of cases. One item I forgot to mention is that there will, like there will never be 3D evidence of the creator. There'll never will be 3D evidence of reincarnation of. So it's as we've discussed, it's something that will just be a knowing. Now this is coming to a really interesting part. And if there are any scientists listening, this is, why don't you prove this? Or, because it's like Einstein. He dreamt his theory, and then he had to prove it, relativity theory. Or is it Newton seeing the apple fall, and then, gravitation, and then proving it? For any scientist, Creon is the angel. Creon has given this information, and why don't you, as a listener, if you're a scientist, go and prove this? And so he has information that is world beating. So what Creon says, angel Creon, and for people that doubt angel Creon, that's angel Creon is currently being communicating with about 9 people worldwide for the last 25 years, and the information I use is from Lee Carroll in the States. Prophet Muhammad, so the Creator spoke via Angel Gabriel to Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad was in a cave, and he couldn't read or write, and these words just came through. But what was unique about the Quran is that they could capture every word. So every word in Arabic is pure. The problem what's happening in Islam is you've now got 163 Muslim sects, and they've taken the Arabic words and put a slant on it. So I've got a website on my book where you can put in any verse and you get 7 English translations, and you need to look at that. And then to make matters worse, the Muslims have got the hadiths, Hadith, however you pronounce it. And it's where people after Prophet Muhammad, some knew him, and some, like 100, 200 years later, didn't even know him, wrote the hadith. So we need to get rid of it, because 20% is incorrect, the Creator tells me. So then you've got to get rid of all of it. You need to go back to the pure document. Now, the reason for mentioning it is there are billions of Muslims that believe in the Quran, and that is a spirit entity. So to poo-poo Angel Creon will, I think, make a big mistake, because I found Angel Creon's information to be really, really, it just makes sense. Now, what Angel Creon says is that a calf, so we think we just born here. A lot of people, atheists and so on, believe you evolve, you just come from somewhere. It's, for every person, there's a template. So, and animals and plants and everything, you evolve to a template. And a calf of a horse, or so, whatever you call the calf of a horse, you gets up after birth, wiggles around for a bit, and there it goes. It can eat, it can sustain itself. We, as a baby, I don't know for how many years, the parents must look after baby. And the reason for that is a calf is programmed by the spirit world. It's not just happens by coincidence, to be at 100% DNA activation. We as humans are programmed at 30%. And the indigo kids from a certain time, 1990, my daughter is 1996, so I know she's an indigo child, so it's just before that, are programmed about 35%. Now, the reason why it's done like this, although there's Trump, there's a lot of good things that Trump has done. Like, I don't know too many, but like there are good things. Sorry, I'm not a Trump.
I rack my brain trying to come up with something positive that he did.
I think when he met the North Korean guy, the rocket man, I think that actually stopped the rockets. It's fair enough. And actually, he got NATO to start increasing the percentages. Okay, a bit unethical ways he did it, but he got there. And I just want to say, in my previous life, this time I was in the property field, and I studied Trump heavily because he can think big, and I admire him for how he can think big. But just imagine giving Trump 100% DNA activity. What he's created already on a 30% complete mayhem. So because the Creator has given us free will, and it's up to us to make the world a better place. Imagine if a lot of people, if Hitler was giving 100% DNA activation, what it will do to the world, it will even, or more other people, So that is why, as we have got incarnations, and as the human, whoever incarnates on Earth, as it progresses, the spirit world increases our DNA activation. And this is why our kids in the future, as the DNA percentages are being increased, will become more spiritual. So it's like a snowball effect in a sense. You become a bit more spiritual, and then your DNA activation is increased. And just finally, before I stop at this point, the Creator also tells me, when they talk about we are going from the third dimension into the fourth dimension, and Santanda or Sananda, which is actually Jesus, is already in the seventh dimension. So we're going from the third and fourth. That dimensions are linked to DNA activation. It's all to do with increasing the DNA activation, and then we're going to a different dimension.
So that would mean that after we pass away and we become a soul again, we carry our DNA with us as we go?
That one I don't know. Angel Creon, I can't recall him discussing that one.
Oh, because it only makes sense that since our DNA is kind of like our license plate, if you will, of who we are, that in order for us that it would continue forward with us through our incarnations and stuff.
Oh, definitely, it's like a circle. So the Buddhists have always got this circle. Wherever you get to the Tibetan, I used to, when I go to India, go to Tibetan monastery. I stayed there. You've always got these wheels that you turn, a series of them. It's the cycle of reincarnation. So all your knowledge you've picked up somehow stays in the loop. But then when you open your mouth and your spirit and your soul comes back into you, and your soul goes to your hip area, it then must then go into your DNA. Yeah, that makes sense. It then I normally speak to the Creator about automatic writing because it's more accurate. But let me just ask the Creator: does it go in DNA? Yes, it does. So when you open your mouth, the information that comes through, I assume it must come through your pineal gland. Yes, it does. Then it follows, then goes into your DNA and into the energy fields, which is going to be the next discussion we're going to have.
Right. And we're going to have that discussion in about a month, which will be really a lot of fun because it used to be. I started with this work and really started thinking about reincarnation about the year 2000, and maybe 1999, and there wasn't a whole lot of things written about it. There wasn't a whole lot of people talking about it, and in the last 20 years that has changed to a great degree, and more people are realizing that reincarnation has got a factual nature and factual basis. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I think the factual basis is in programs like the Surviving Death. The other one, shucks, I passed by this. The other one is past life regression. So yeah, now you've reminded me. So I think it is through seeing Netflix like that or people experiences, and then there is a way to prove it for yourself. But now a lot of people won't do it. As I say, in the future, it will people, our kids and their kids will start just knowing it. Because the thing is, what happens to us when you're young, you are actually highly spiritual. First of all, your body is highly alkaline. And as we put meat, dairy, and eggs into our body, which is all of them are alkaline before they enter the body. So they're both 3.65 pH, but they're all acidic forming in the body. And so our body is heavily acidic, but in the world where there's fear and we listen to other people, as we grow a little bit older, we became a bit more like robots, and we cut off from spirituality, where when you're younger, so this is why a lot of kids remember the reincarnation experiences when they're young. And then when they're older, that same guy, or maybe it's another one they discussed, when he was a teenager, he started forgetting about things. So they can actually remember it when they're young. And then as we're growing older and we're in the school and you've got to tick all these exam paper and 10 questions and 10 answers, and you've got to tick these 10 answers, we become sort of sequentialized, and we sort of cut off from the spirit world. Okay, so on the second way we could prove it is past life regression. So I went to an event in Dublin, Ireland by a lady called Patricia McGibbon, which is an American lady. And there was only about 10 of us. And she took us through we just sat there, eyes open, through a hypnosis sort of exercise where you then experience a past life. 7 out of the 10 people experienced a past life. I would say half of those, because afterwards I didn't. Half of those, all 7 that then experienced it, then talked about it after we came out of. We weren't in hypnosis. We just in a sort of more quiet state. But I think it's sort of semi-hypnosis. And half of the 7, say 3 or 4, had horrific experiences. They were either being stoned or because they were persecuted or whatever. So, and the others, say 3 or 4, had nice experiences. So I'm not a particular fan, actually, of past life regression because, but then again, I suppose in the future, when kids are going to remember all their past lives, they'll become used to it. So I don't know whether you should go for it. In any case, afterwards, I went to another lady, I forget her name, in Dublin for a session on my own, past life regression session. And I just couldn't. I just somehow I couldn't go into hypnosis state. But I would say, yeah, the first is through other people talking about it, and the second one is you can experience it for yourself.
I agree with that, and I believe, at least for me, there are moments. Sometimes I'll have a dream or I'll have a daydream, and it will be about something or a place that I've never been to, but it's so real. It's remarkable. And so there's a lot of stuff, and you're the first one to tell me there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't have any idea what it is yet. And it's very complicated on the other side, and it's very big on the other side.
Yeah, to make it even more confusing is dreams is another topic, because when you at the end of the day, when you go to sleep, and we'll discuss this in the next discussion when we talk about energy fields and stuff and chakras, you actually some of you go over into the spirit world, and your dreams are actually the spirit world giving you hints of something that's happening in your life. So it's for you then to wake up first thing in the morning and try and remember that dream, and try and think how that dream links into your life. And this is where affirmations are so important, because ask and you receive. The more affirmations you can have to help your mission, can be anything in life. The more you ask the spirit world to help you, the more the spirit world can send you dreams. And not only dreams, they can send people to you. You start meeting people and they start giving you answers. It's amazing how it works. So the dreams are part of that. And then some people say, well, they've had a bad dream, that they're in a car accident. And actually, it's not a bad dream. If you go into the dream, it is using a wacky, my dreams are always wacky examples, and not always, but it's the creator gave us free will and they don't want to interfere with that. So they don't want to tell us something. So when I ask the creator a question through automatic writing, I'll never get an answer. If someone else asks a question through my website, three free questions, you'll get a far more exact answer, because it's only three questions and three answers. So dreams is another topic, and just ask people, try and wake up your dream, try and think in your life what's happening at that point in time, and it's fun, because it becomes like a puzzle. You're playing a little game with the spirit world.
Oh, I agree. By the way, we're talking with Karl de Leeuw, and he's an author. He's written, I believe it's 3, soon to be 4. Is that right?
No, it's 3 books. I'm finished with all my books. Never
You're not writing anymore?
No. I had 3 big topics, but on my website, lightsurface.me, I've now got 12 topics, and 6 of those 12 topics comes out of 7 out of my 3 books. The other topics comes out of experience. So I've got one topic, for instance, why the moon landing didn't take place. For my universe code book, for my dyslexia code book, I researched for 6 months. And then in dyslexia, there's actually a lot of nutritional issues there that take people off milk and dairy and stuff and gluten, and they improve hugely. Then I researched another 6 months for my Healthspring code book. And then my universe code book took 7 years. And to research the moon hoax took me 1 day, just 1 day. So I haven't got that one live on my website yet, but within 2 weeks period, it will be live. I'll speak to someone on that. But
it is a pretty controversial position.
Yes, but I invite anyone to come and have a look, because I'm going to show photos, only 5 photos, why the moon landing could never have taken place. Very simple. Less is more. It's so simple. And unfortunately, there's karma in countries. So the US, not the whole US, NASA, having pulled off the biggest lie was probably in humanity's history, have got a huge karma issue. So they have to come out with the truth now. This is serious stuff. This is why I'm doing it, for the US to move forward and be a beacon of light, for Biden to be a beacon of light now to the world. The karma needs to be corrected. And this is why I'm having this discussion topic.
Oh, very good. So the website again is
Light Surfers, all one word with the S at the end, .me.
lightsurfers.me. And if you want to get a hold of you or to email you, do they do that through the website?
Yes, so on lightsurfers.me, you can go to my other 3 websites. So you can click on One Souls, which is this event in New York, and then under there, the different speakers, and under me as a speaker, you can get my social media, and you can click onto my LinkedIn page, my Facebook page, my Twitter page. And in the same, I've got a website called Let's Live Longer Now, and the same there. And the other one is the International Celebration Dyslexia.
Now, the One Souls, that is an event that is happening in April of 2022, I believe. Is that correct?
That's right.
And so you've got lots of time to go to the website and to look at it and to book your flight over there, because it's in the eastern part of the United States, I believe.
It's in New York. We've still got to get our US visas, B1 visas. So we've got 3 guys in India, 2 from London. The earliest, the one Indian guy, Tarat Roy, is going for his visa interview at Delhi. He's got to go all the way to Delhi in March next month. And myself and Nikki is only going in September. That's the earliest slot we could book. But if you book a ticket, firstly, there's someone that wants to stay anonymous that is sponsoring this event. It costs $20,000 US. And just so interest sake, if you really want to donate, this is what the spiritual says: stay anonymous. Don't give your name. The Kabbalists, actually, there's the Kabbalists that say that. It's which is interesting. So this person wants to stay anonymous. It's 40 people at the event. So each ticket costs us $500, but we're selling the tickets at $50 each. And the reason why I would book early, because there's only 40 tickets, and we're going to have the speakers, and in the afternoon, we're going to have questions and answers. We're going to videotape it, and then I'm going to put this videotape onto the One Souls website. So anyone going there will be on that. And this event, because less is more, is going to never take place again. I'm just going to rely on the butterfly effect. So if you want an event and be part of it, it's never going to take, book your ticket early. The reason being, there's no risk financially, is I use universe.com, which is part of Ticketmaster, and they only pay me. I work with this website personally. They only pay me 7 days after the event, and up to before the event, I think it's minutes before the event, or no. I think I've clicked up to 7 days before the event. Anyone can cancel, and you get your money back. So it's fine. We're going to get 40 people to the event, but I would just suggest don't leave it too long, whatever you do. Okay, so back to reincarnation. As we mentioned in the last podcast, 0.5% of humanity, so this is what Angel Creon says, have to wake up. So out of the 8 billion people, 4 million people have to wake up to make our planet ascended planet. But what's interesting, out of the 4 million, it's really 144,000 people are going to drive that. So you can get 4 million, but the drivers of all that 4 million is really going to be the 144,000 people. And that 144,000 from my research was in a lot of scriptures as well. I can't remember exactly where. So how it works is that I went to an event of a guy called Keith Cunningham. He's in Austin, Texas. And when you go, he used to have an event called Flying Solo, which I think we were the last people he went for. And when you arrived at his event, he gave you 2 armbands. And the one armband said, it's the quality of the question you ask. And the other armband says, get in line and stay in line. And that armband is so important because a lot of people, before they achieve what they've set out to do, they get out of the queue. So Thomas Edison said, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So 1% are idea, 99% sweat. In any case, that's just by and by. So the one I want to discuss is the other armband. Get in line, stay in line. Sorry, it's the quality of the question you ask. So I found that, and Keith Cunningham also talks about thinking time. Go and sit down and have thinking time, like a Japanese thinking gardens. Because, and this is why affirmations and getting dreams and so on from the spirit world is, if you can get the question, it's actually easier than to get the answer. So for people, the spirit world that have already mentioned the 100% the DNA activation. So you've already got the question in effect. So now you just got to get the answer. Now, the most important thing I set out in my lifetime currently to achieve is to uncover the mystery universe. And then I want to, for the rest of my life, speak about it. And that uncovering was a question I asked the Creator. Now, when I first started, I never knew that I could communicate with the Creator years later. Now, my question to the Creator was, is the string in string theory the same as the Creator particle, or as it's called the God particle currently? So in CERN, between Switzerland and France, when they've got the collider, they found that God particle, I don't know how many years ago. That Creator particle, I asked to the Creator, is the same as string theory? And the Creator said yes. So that is uncovering the mystery of the universe, because the mystery of the universe is that we are all made up in the smallest part, just strings. So how it's explained is, if you take a human as a string, size of a human, and in the rest of the solar system, the string is the human, or a tree size. The atom is the rest of the solar system. A string is so small, that Creator particle is minute. But the reason for mentioning this now, we are all connected via strings, because we're all made up of vibrating strings. That was the biggest thing I'll ever brought to humanity. And the biggest thing the Creator tells me that I'll ever bring to humanity is that the string in string theory, which is minute compared to electron or anything, the smallest particle is the Creator particle. And so we are all linked. And this is somehow, and scientists, you can prove it, why scientists have now shown that, calculated, all the coronaviruses you can put into a tin of Coca-Cola. And that's why coronavirus that's all over can mutate, because everything is linked. Don't ask me how it works, but it's all linked.
That's interesting. That's interesting. We've been, by the way, talking with Karl de Leeuw, and he has got a bunch of stuff going on. Go to his website, and which is lightseekers.me, right?
Light surface. So light is the light of the Creator. Surface as surfing the wave with the S at the end, all one word, .me.
Light surfs the wave. Gotcha.
Light surfers, not
Right.
me.
I just keep thinking of the wave.
Yeah, but hopefully you can put it on. But if people can't find it, just put in my name and surname, and it is on the show notes. I know you put my name in there. So just to end our conversation, the Kabbalah.com say that it's all, they talk about receiving and sharing. So in this lifetime, if you are, I don't know why I'm mentioning this now under reincarnation, but in any case, I'll continue with it. Well, it's linked to it because in this lifetime, if you're a receiver, if you're a taker, it's the worst thing you can do. So the worst example is a beggar begging for money, and you're giving money to it, because the beggar is receiving, it's not growing. The best thing a beggar can do is go and work in a homeless center and clean the dishes, because then they're giving. That's why it's so good to. I remember when I lost everything in property, 2008, 9. I started John DeMartini stuff and Tony Robbins and stuff like that. And Tony Robbins is big in. He once a year has got this meals or something for Christmas time or something. Thanksgiving. He says, go join a charity, because when you're out, I was out. The best thing you can do is actually join a charity and give. Because as you share, as you give, that is when you can start growing. The worst thing in this lifetime, I suppose how I draw it into reincarnation is, at least as a minimum, just start giving, give back to society, make the world a better place. Don't just constantly take, because you're doing your own self a harm. Okay, to end off the 5 main religions, Hinduism, the oldest, is all about reincarnations. You know, the reincarnation, the Hindus see the Ganga, the river Ganges, the creator being in it. They see it, the creator being in a cow. So it's all about in Hinduism. Buddhism, it's the wheel of reincarnation. When the Dalai Lama dies, the first person that's born is then the new Dalai Lama. It's all about reincarnation. Okay, Judaism. The only proof I can get, which I'm sure a lot of Jews will dispute, is Kabbalah.com. So Kabbalists are Jews. It's obviously a small portion of Jews' population, and it's the Zohar that was communicated 200 years after Christ. And the Zohar is all about reincarnation. It's a secret of the Old Testament. Christianity, the second most truthful document that I found in my research is the Talmud of Germanial. So in 1963, the year I was born, 57 years ago, Billy Meyer in Switzerland found that, because he knew, the Bedains told him where the Talmud of Germanial was buried. Jesus' son, Jesus didn't die on the cross, he died in Srinagar, Kashmir, and he wrote the Talmud of Germanial. His son took it to this grave where Jesus was for 3 days. He was cured. There was a secret entrance. And Billy Meyer found it. An Iranian guy then started translating it into German, and the Israelis then bombed and killed him. The Talmud of Germanial is the true New Testament. And in my view, but I'm calling on Billy Meyer that we now need to get it carbon dated. And no doubt they currently released 30%, released the other 70%. And the Talmud, the Billy Meyer scholars can show you how the New Testament was taken from the Talmud. And the Talmud of Germanial is all about reincarnation. And just and Jesus, his real name was actually Germanial. Germanial saying that because Jesus could look ahead in time, forward, and so he knew that soul will falsify his name to the name Jesus, and that people will see him as the Son of God. Jesus was actually the son of a Padaean, a god, but Jesus, like the Padaeans, are all part of creation. They're all born like we born. So that's Christianity, and then to end, Islam. So the Quran is the most truthful document that I've come across, is where the Creator tried to corrected the mistakes of the Old and New Testament that scholars changed. Prophet Muhammad was roughly 600 years after Christ. In the Arabic format is truthful. As I mentioned before, it's in the translation where it goes on. And the Talmud, the Quran, is a highly scientific document as well. The number of things they've only discovered in the last 100 years that, so Prophet Muhammad, he couldn't rewrite these verses, just came through like automatic writing nearly, but he couldn't even write. And 600 years after Christ, roughly, in the last 100 years, the amount of scientific things they found in the Quran is amazing. So it just shows how amazing it is. They're finding these scientific things that's written in the Quran 600 years after Christ, and they're only discovering it. Wow! And now science have discovered it. Now, the last thing I want to say is Muslims have not looked for reincarnation in the Quran. So I would like to call on Muslims to go to ecosia.org, ecosia.org, which is an ethical browser instead of Google or Bing. But you can go to Google as well and put in reincarnation Islam. And then you'll see reincarnation is in the Quran.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, good. I suggest people do that because you got to do your own research at one point in time. And I love the concept that you use about automatic writing. I've talked about automatic writing over the years, and I've known a bunch of people that do it, including people like Neil Donald Walsh and so forth. And you're another one. You can get the answers that you need by forming a direct connection to the divine. And you can do that through the energy that you and the divine share. So I would do that. Now, we're going to talk next month, and we're going to talk about energy and chakras, correct?
That's going to be of our three talks. I think your audience is going to really enjoy it.
I think so too. By the way, Karl de Leeuw has been our guest. Go to his website, which again, I'm not going to slaughter it for you, so you get to do it.
Lightsurfers.me.
Lightsurfers.me. That's M-E. And very good. And sir, I'd like to thank you very much for participating today. It gives you your research gives one pause and a lot to think about. And so I'm going to go do some research myself. So I think that's really good. So thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you to you.
And you have yourself an absolutely awesome day, sir. And we'll be in touch. So thank you, everybody, for paying attention. And this is going to be on YouTube, my Facebook page, and I'll also make an audio available on my podcast. So hope you'll look at them and tell your friends. And please go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. Then we can get bigger. Thanks. And then we can bring people like Karl and do bigger things with them. So looking forward to next time. So everyone have a great day. Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other because each other's all we got. See you next time on My Independence Report.